With birth trauma, what are some of the, that you have seen through your research and through your community? What are some of those short-term and long-term impacts of birth trauma that women experience?
Mm. You ready for a long list? I'll try and keep this short. And I joke about it because sometimes we have to going through this experience, but it's really lengthy. And so, again, I think people think of this as like, oh, it's just a birth plan gone wrong. But it's like the
Mhm.
short term impacts are those PTSD symptoms that I started to list. So things like avoidance, isolation, flashbacks, nightmares, a lot of like breastfeeding struggles come as a result of this because there's like a disconnect that happens, bonding issues, fear, anxiety, depression. But then the longer term impacts that we see are like a lot of physical pain for moms, as well as intimacy issues, as well as like infections that you'll see, or a lot of them have fears around future pregnancies. So, unfortunately, one of the long term impacts is that a lot of moms become one and done, where they're like, I don't want to go through that experience. I almost lost my life giving birth, and I don't want to risk that again, or I don't think my mental health can handle it, as well as things like
Right.
relationship issues and friendship issues. So it's just like I did a
Mm.
post recently on it, and it's just I ran out of room like on the little Instagram post square of trying to list all the long-term impacts of this. It's vast.
So is it fair to say then that I guess some of the impacts and the way that women experience it would be a combination of mental and physical, and the way, it might not necessarily be a physical trauma, it can be a mental trauma, it could be a combination, one or
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. Because again, going back to like that one size doesn't fit all, that's what I stress on the page too, is that everybody has their own individual experience from it. So if you're telling me that the physical aspect of this particular part of your birth was traumatic, then it was traumatic. And
right.
no one gets to argue with you about that because again, trauma is subjective.